Should Pete Rose be in baseball's Hall of Fame? It's a debate that's raged for the last 20 years or so. And now a new short film by ESPN may just bring the controversy back into focus. Hey everybody, it's Paulie. Welcome back to This Week in Red, where we're talking all things Red Sox and Major League Baseball. So ESPN announced that they're going to continue their series of 30 for 30 sports documentaries that they started back in 2009 to honor 30 years of the network. And in addition to the films being continued, they're going to also run some short films on Grantland.com, which is an ESPN-associated website founded by ESPN personality Bill Simmons. And the first of these short films is about Pete Rose and what his life is like today, which basically consists of living in Las Vegas and then going 5 days a week to the Forum shops at Caesars Palace Casino to sign autographs at a memorabilia store in the shops area in the casino. It's actually kind of a sad documentary when you take a look at what has happened to Rose in his post-baseball life and of course in his life after he was banned from baseball. And of course they do ask him in the documentary about his thoughts on being banned from baseball and not being in the Hall of Fame. And you know, I know this is a controversial topic, and I said it's been 20 years in the making that people have been debating it. But the bottom line for me is Pete Rose does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame for one simple reason. He signed a document that Bart Giamatti put in front of him back in the late 80s and early 90s in which Bart said, "Pete, I will not release any of this information about you betting on baseball if you sign this document agreeing to be banned from the game with no guarantee of reinstatement, and if you're banned from the game, you will not be allowed in the Hall of Fame." And Rose signed the document. So to me, that's the biggest issue here. Now, I know a lot of you are going to jump on me and say, hey, if you're going to put steroid abusers in the Hall of Fame, you got to put Pete Rose in. No, I don't, because it's a different issue. I want to deal with Pete Rose by himself and what he admitted, not publicly, but what he admitted to the then commissioner when he signed that document. He was saying, okay, Mr. Giamatti, I'll sign this document. I'll admit to you that I did bet on baseball. I don't want it released to the public, and I'll take the ban and I'll take my punishment. Now, I don't know if Rose's thought process at the time was that this would be the easiest route to him getting to the Hall of Fame, that he would indeed be reinstated a year or two after the ban took effect. But he had a big problem when Giamatti died, and then other people who succeeded Giamatti had to deal with this issue. But the fact of the matter is, Pete Rose not only signed that document, but over the years, his denial and his arrogance and his just general cluelessness about this topic, to me, he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame just for those reasons as well. He's pissed off so many of the baseball writers of America that vote on entry into the Hall of Fame. To me, he'll never get in the Hall of Fame because these guys at this point are never going to let him in. And if they die off and a new generation of writers takes over, they will not have seen Pete Rose play. So how are they going to vote the guy into the Hall of Fame? And this all could have been avoided if Rose, when the things in the Dowd report started to leak years later, if he just stepped up to a podium and said, look, I admit I did bet on baseball. I'm not proud of it. I did admit it to Commissioner Giamatti. I'm sorry, and please, would you reconsider me for the Hall of Fame? If Pete had just done that simple act of contrition, he'd probably already be in the Hall of Fame. But instead, he continues to be in denial, which, if you watch this 8-minute short film, is very clear. He continues to be arrogant, as he's always been, and he'll admit nothing as far as publicly admitting that he bet on baseball. It's a disgrace. And to me, if he's not going to fess up and say, hey, I made this mistake, I'm looking for forgiveness, he should be out of the Hall of Fame, and it has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with steroids and everything to do with attitude, because he broke the #1 rule in baseball. In every clubhouse in America, there's a sign that says, do not gamble on this sport. Pete Rose did it. He signed a document stating that he did it, and now he expects people to drop everything and put him in the Hall of Fame because he's sad about the whole thing. It's a bunch of garbage. Pete Rose, if I was a writer, would never enter the Hall of Fame. But what about you guys? What are your thoughts on Pete? Why should he be in the Hall of Fame, or why should he be kept out? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and tell all your friends about This Week in Red.